Welcome back to another Lefties 2 broadcast. Today we have top 10 players who I believe belong at second base. Right? So again, infielders, there's a lot of them. A lot of infielders. Got it. But these are the ones that I think if you're going to play them, they're best suited at second base. Now, a couple of the criteria is to kind of, so you guys can kind of get into my brain. Is one, they're not going to be left-handed. So the previous video, anybody that's left-handed, I typically put them at first base. Now, of course, again, it's up to you. You could put anybody anywhere you want, and it's your call. That's why they're all just called infielders, right? So these people, though, are the top 10 that I think best position for them is at second base. I'll give you my reasons why. But one honorable mention, I guess not really honorable, but I wouldn't put him anywhere else, he's outside the lines of this one, is Terry. So Terry is just kind of fast, great fielder, but his offense is terrible and his throwing is not that great. And you're going to kind of see the trend here. When throwing is low, that's kind of my major criteria for a second baseman infielder when the throwing isn't that great. Now, Terry, again, he's fast, good fielder, just not really a good hitter. So if you're like in the lower levels and you have a lot of Terry cards, I guess if you need a level 12 or 13, put him in there for a while until you get someone better. All right, so he's outside the lines. Now we're going into another one kind of similar is Jordan, number 10, Jordan. Right? His speed is average, a little bit above average in my opinion. And again, for those of you that don't know, my average in my own mathematical scheme is about 175. All right? So his fielding is impeccable. He does not make an error. So if you want someone that doesn't make any errors, he's that guy. But look at his offense. It's trash. Contact, trash, power, trash. So he's your ninth batter, and you just want some sure hands. And again, his throwing is a little bit below average. So granted, you could put him at shortstop, or you could put him, at that second base position. Up to you. But he's number 10 for that reason. All right, moving right along. Got Andre, the newer player. Now, again, he's not maxed, but this month, pay attention, he's going to come in with an event. But again, when he's maxed out, his throwing is terrible. Fielding, not great. So he's in there for mostly his power and contact, obviously. So if you want an extra power hitter and you don't know where you want to put Andre, put him in there at second base if you're just going for that power lineup, because he will bring a lot of runs in that way. So hopefully he brings in more runs than he takes away with his terrible defense. But he's number 9, mainly for his hitting. All right, moving right along. We're going into Hank. Hank is your infielder who is just pretty solid at everything. Above average overall player. So if you have a guy at level 13 and Hank is that guy, great. His contact above average, power a little above average, speed above average, throwing pretty decent, fielding pretty decent. Again, you could probably play him anywhere, but he's probably best suited at that second base role, right? And, hitting wise, you could hit probably second in your lineup to like 6th, 7th, or 8th in your lineup. It doesn't really matter. He's not going to kind of flash the screen a little bit. He's not going to make these crazy things, but he's a consistent player. So he's sitting there at number 8. All right, moving right along. Next up is Andy. Again, Andy's in there a lot for that power and speed. So he kind of moves ahead quickly on the base paths. So his defense, when he's maxed out and throwing, kind of okay. You could put him, anywhere. It's just not that special. So second baseman is where I have him, sitting at number 7. All right, going to number 6, Smith. A lot of people use Smith. See that contact, pretty high contact. Fast is your leadoff hitter, right? After hitting the ball, he sprints to first base a little faster. His throwing is at 159, right? He's not in there for his throwing. His fielding's a little bit low average. So you're not going to put him at third or short because those are the long throws, and you got to have good fielding on the corners. So second base is where you would hide Smith, in my opinion. All right, it's going right along. And I see this guy, Mickey. I see him at third or first. For obvious reasons, he has that high jump on the corners, which is really good for those shots down each line. But you look at that throwing, right? When he gets maxed out, it's what, 162? So not really the greatest thrower. 175 fielding, so pretty average on fielding. Again, he's in there for his power and his contact. And he's pretty decent on speed a little bit, right? So second base is probably the best spot for him, in my opinion, if you're going to use him. All right? Okay, going right along. Number 4, we're going to Brock. Brock, this guy, solid contact, pretty decent power. Throwing is his weakest spot. Fielding, really good. Speed, again, a little bit low average. Right there, that throwing, not that great. But again, when an opponent is in scoring position, the dude's fielding goes up even higher. So having him at second base, you're going to get that weird ground ball, run around, you got it, right? Good defensive plays, less errors. So Brock is a solid number 4, in my opinion. And definitely if you're in the lower ranks, use him. Dude's a solid bat as well, so don't be afraid to use Brock if you have a chance. All right, number 3, and I have him at short, so a little hypocritical, yes, I know, is Robinson, right? Robinson's in there for his contact, his power, and his speed, right? Flat out. Throwing, terrible. Fielding, terrible. This guy is a defensive nightmare. So if you're going to use him, you got to use him at that second base. You don't want him at third. You don't want him at short. You definitely don't want him at first. I guess you could use him at first if you want to, because, first baseman not throwing all the time. But second base is where you should have him. Don't be like me. Put him at short. But again, to each his own. Do what you got to do. All right, and there it is. You know who's number 1. But let's who's number 2. Fox. All right, so again, Fox is not really in there for his bat. Decent contact, throwing a little bit below average, fielding a little below average. He's in there for his speed because he steals. He's a leadoff guy or number 2 guy for most of you. I call it the basic bitch lineup, right? Oh, let's have Fox and then Ruth. Fox and then Ruth. Don't worry, I did the same thing. But you could change your mind if you want to, right? But anyways, still kind of having that idea. A lot of people use Fox, not hating. All right? So Fox at second base is probably his best spot. But his arm at 171, you could probably throw him in there at short. I wouldn't put him at third just because there's a lot of those little dribblers to third baseline, and he's not going to get that guy out. All right? So there it is. Number 1. You know who it is. Durant. Durant, power, amazing. Throwing, amazing. His fielding, terrible. Good spot. You can't have him at third. You can't have him at short. That double play turn, again, you look at my third baseman, Jack, just, going off the rails here. His throwing's 190, right? So it's a quick shot to second base and a faster shot to first base with that double play. I've turned many triple plays, the 5-4-3 triple plays, with that tandem as well. So I'd highly recommend Durant at second base and nowhere else, right? That's it. So what is your second baseman lineup? Who do you use? Why? Let me know. Again, don't be afraid to subscribe, comment, give me something, give me some more ideas. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good one. See you next time here on the Lefties 2 broadcast.